Right, so hi everyone. Welcome to the post-match stream after the Solihull match. Exciting start to the new era, I think it's fair to say. I'm Mark Griffiths, that guy's Tom Barlow, and we will be answering your questions, so please throw them in. And so it was it was pretty mad, wasn't it, really? We should have seen the job out at the end, but we started rough start, great goal by Sparrow. And then we came back. Mullin did brilliantly to win a penalty, which he converted himself. David Jones scored what our Twitter account has called the greatest goal in the history of association football. And we controlled the second half, but never got the third goal. And Sparrow scored in the 4th minute of added time after Reece Hall-Johnson, worryingly, had to be stretchered off. But, overall, it's got to be said, it was a... the fans clapped him off because it didn't disappoint. We've not finished the squad off yet, but it looked promising.
Yeah, it was the crazy start to the season, wasn't it? We had a great goal from Sparrow at the very start, with Wrexham looking completely shaky, and then Mullin wins a penalty, seemingly going nowhere, but the keeper brings him down, and that's what we needed at that point in the game. We just needed something, a piece of luck. He slams his penalty home. David Jones scores the greatest goal of the history of football.
Well, he's just down in front of us now, actually. He's about to do the media interviews, but yeah, it was an unbelievable goal with his weaker foot, outside the box, volley, top left corner. The man is a god.
I know, he was running onto the ball and just bounced once, and we all looked at it and thought, yeah, this is going out of the ground, this is going 50 yards up, this is going back to central Birmingham. But no, it hit his left foot and it just fizzed, and it just gained that bit of altitude, and then it just fizzed into the top corner.
It was fantastic, wasn't it? Absolutely fantastic.
It got me out of my seat.
yeah. Well, the scenes in the away end after that were just incredible, weren't they? We got some questions coming. Ryan Price is saying, why was 7 minutes added? Well, Hall-Johnson picked up an injury. Well, the next question, Alan Gardner, how bad did the injury look? It was one of those, it looked quite innocuous, the challenge, didn't he? He just took a heavy touch and then slid in to tackle Williams, and he did start to get up and then went back down again, and straight away Luke Young was calling the physio ones. He thought it was serious. But it all looked quite innocuous, really, didn't it? He was off on a stretcher and looked in a bit of distress. After they'd taken him round the pitch, he went down the tunnel right next to us, and he got his head on his hands. He looked not in the best way. It was worrying, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, he was booked 10-15 minutes before that. So when he's gone in for that tackle, my heart was in my mouth a little bit. But it seemed to be a 50-50 that he just lost. And then, he went down, and I think some people thought he was winded at first, couldn't quite work out what had happened. He seemed to be fine, but then he was back down. But then, Gemma Bamford, our physio, called over for a substitution. And, it doesn't... He was stretched off right in front of us, wasn't he? But it doesn't look the best. But hopefully it's nothing too serious.
Yeah, absolutely. He was... sometimes players are stretched off, and then after a bit, it's not that bad. So let's hope that's what it is. But it did look worrying, didn't it? I've got to say, going back to the 7 minutes, though, now I had the signal from Gemma Bamford that we need to make a change was made very early. Because you could see quite early on. So Harry Lennon was stripped off and ready to come on. And I wrote down the minute, because I thought he was going to come on then, 73, and then thought, oh, maybe not, because, it'll take a while to treat Hall-Johnson. So when he came off, I put the correct time on, which was 75. So for me, that was 2 minutes treatment. Okay, maybe a little bit more before they signalled over. I would call it maximum 3 minutes treatment, that. I'll go back and look at the video and work it out for sure. Where the rest of it came from, I have no idea. There wasn't a full complement of substitutions. There weren't stoppages. There wasn't a goal at that point. So I don't know where 7 came from. It's almost a sort of default thing with the referee of, oh, there's been a bad injury. We had to stop the game. Oh, well, I'll add 7, a freak number on. 94th minute they got the equaliser, so I suppose fair enough. I'm not really blaming that. But as Emma Roberts says here, the ref wasn't great.
No, you always get a feeling for how much added time there is. You could literally stop a stopwatch every time there was a break and pause in play, and it wouldn't amount to the amount that's added on at the end. My feeling was there should be 5-6 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I saw 7 go up, and my first feeling was a bit surprised and worried, and rightfully so. But It did seem to be 3-4 minutes of treatment.
Yeah.
McAlinden was waiting 2-3 minutes to come on because he was ready straight away. To be fair to him, but
Well,
I don't know where the 7.
Yeah, it was Lennon who came on for Hall Johnson.
Lennon, yeah.
And I remember when at the time thinking, I'm surprised how quickly he's not stripped off. It was almost like they weren't waiting to see. Obviously, it was because an early signal had been given, but it was an early signal, so I am genuinely flummoxed by that. Also, them are saying about the referee being shocking, and he gave an awful lot of decisions Solihull's way. Wrexham are getting very angry about it. Tyler French was booked after the final whistle for dissent, and the other booking was Hall Johnson. One of the most astounding refereeing decisions I've seen, and I've seen some bad ones. I mean, ball cleared to the halfway line. Hall Johnson got there first, put out for a throw-in. Clearly got there first by a distance. The Solihull player then, out of control, cut Hall Johnson in half, and the referee booked Hall Johnson. I mean, it was just... I blew my mind, that did.
I know everyone on the bench started clapping for what a great challenge that was.
Yeah.
And then the referee blows over, runs over, and gives him a yellow card, which no one could quite understand or comprehend at the time. And obviously, when he made that later challenge, which got him injured, my heart was in my mouth.
Oh yeah, that was more of a everything's more than a foul than the first one.
I know, because the ref did run over to him before he properly went down, and I was like, oh no, it's at least talking to, like, you've got one more. But yeah, the ref, I mean, he made a mistake in front of us, which he owned up to, and I think Colin on commentary said he respected, because, you know, he's made a mistake and he's altered it. But I don't know, he seems to be he was one of those refs that like to talk a lot, run over a lot, have a lot of words, and then not be really decisive or give a consistent line of decisions. But no, I mean, he did get a few wrong today.
Rob Stead, hi Rob, saying it's interesting that all of the teams that won today were playing away from home. And I hadn't noticed that. And I had to look at what the fixtures were. Maybe
not all the teams.
No,
we have drawn 2-2.
No, all the teams who won were the away teams.
Yeah. And we didn't win.
Yeah, no, all teams. Oh man, blinking heck. Jeff Lang, possibly anticipating that conversation just then, said there seemed a lack of communication between the defence and midfield. I wouldn't say that. I think maybe in the early stages, which was the only stage when Solihull troubled us, apart from added time when they had a 6'9" striker and he was creating confusion around him, which led to the goal. I would say that maybe we were getting our line right in terms of how much we want to drop to protect the midfield, to protect the defence, and how much to be proactive. But as it went on, I thought the unit, as a team, the spaces between lines increasingly got really good, I thought.
Yeah, I thought in the first 15, 20 minutes, I don't think communication was the issue. I just thought they were nervous, essentially. A massive away crowd from Wrexham. You know, this is where they had to make that mark. This game counts. It's not a pre-season game. They can't just, essentially you have this freedom and show off. Like, you're playing away at Solihull Moors. You've got to be compact and solid for the first opening phase of the game, and we weren't. I mean, that ball that slipped underneath Dibble, and all our hearts were in our mouths as it was trickling towards the goal line, it did sum up how nervous everyone was. And
I'm going to argue with you about this.
All right, go
on. I don't think professionals see it that way. This is an opportunity, This is big crowd, fans behind us. We're going to damn well show what we can do. And the problem is, in football, the big problem with football, there's another side. Yeah. And I thought Solihull first 15 really started well, got at us, and drove us backwards a bit and made us defend. And every time a ball comes into the box and isn't put out for a throw on the halfway line, I think that there's an inclination of people to see it as nervousness. I don't think it is as such. It's just they put us under some really good pressure.
No, I don't think the fans essentially were like quiet or made the players feel nervous. I just felt really nervous. But I don't know. I just had this feeling, and then as soon as Mullin went around the keeper, heading towards absolutely nowhere, he was heading away from goal. Can be desired.
The change in atmosphere, everything
exactly.
in
That's
the ground.
What it felt like.
That moment then when he chased a lost cause, forced a mistake, and got the penalty. It was brilliant play by him.
Yeah,
just changed everything. Yeah. It didn't. And the rest of the second half, we were really had the momentum with us. Right, let's have a squiz. Rob Bailey early days, still not confident we'll get promotion. Oh, well, I don't know. I mean, for me, Solihull are right up there. They are one of the... Last season they finished 6 wins out of 7. They've kept all their core players from last season. They've not lost anyone, and they've brought in some really good players. And we should have beaten them on their patch. I saw that as smashing myself.
Well, before the game, I said to you, Solihull will take the lead, and Wrexham would win 2-1.
You did, didn't you? Yeah.
And all game, I was like, yes. My predictions come true, but no, this Sparrow scored again at the end with another great goal.
Yeah.
And I think he was called man of the match, which I can't really argue with too much.
Well, he played well, didn't he?
Yeah, he played really well. He was a threat all game, even when Solihull weren't looking very threatening and Wrexham were controlling the game. He was still a threat. And, yeah, he scored twice, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly. Although in terms of overall, as Emma Roberts is saying there, Hayden was man of the match, and certainly he was terrific at the back, wasn't he? Really impressive.
His experience showed. And, you know, at first, Max Cloworth started in the centre of the defence. Well, he was playing in the centre of the defence. And I was a bit slightly confused by that, 'cause I thought Hayden would. And then Max would start at like right centre-back, for instance, and then drive forward and play those balls he played at Tamworth. But no, Hayden, he was a dominant figure in that defence, wasn't he? He was winning balls, challenges. He was just that commanding presence that Wrexham need, especially with the likes of Pearson leaving, Carrington. You could argue.
He was class. There was 2 moments stood out for me. One of them was on the edge of our area in the first half when Sparrow ran at him, and I think he thought he'd done enough to get past him, and probably in the National League normally you would do. And Hayden took the ball off him so nonchalantly. It was such a beautifully judged. He just watched the ball. He's not, just in all this fancy footwork. He just watched the ball, took it off him when needed, and then it was almost like he was so pleased with that beautiful piece of work that he stood off and looked at it for a bit and actually lost the ball at the edge of his area. But that's by the by. And then the second half, when Dallas, I think it was, had a sort of 2-yard head start on him, and Hayden just eased onto the accelerator and just went past him without breaking sweat. It was...
I'm not sure if you're describing Van Dijk to me now, or
that's right. He does. He will. Well, I mean, Van Dijk does when hopefully when he's fit again, fully. He does play like he's from a different level.
Yeah.
Hayden is literally from a different level.
Yeah,
I mean, that's why we brought him in.
Yeah.
That's why we brought Mullin in. That's what we hopefully will look to bring in again and again in the next couple of weeks. And they look it.
Can we just talk about Mullin's penalty there?
Yes, please.
How hard did he hit that ball?
Oh, yeah. He could have ripped the net off the top, the moorings.
I know. You look at Mullin and you just think, oh yeah, he's just going to slot it in one of the corners, hit the side net. And no, he absolutely slammed that ball down the centre of the goal and almost broke the netting. I'm surprised it's still standing now, to be honest. But yeah, it was a thunderbolt of a penalty. It
was a real hit, wasn't it? Yeah. Chris Tyke, I agree with this summary. We kept fighting after the early goal against. In the end, it was an unlucky equaliser. Yeah, I mean... Well, to move that on to what Che's saying, hey Che, how was the game? Gutted to lose after draw after going 2-1 up, but a solid point against contenders. Yes, that's exactly right. I mean, basically, I think is it fair to say you could break the game down into 3 sections. First 10-15 minutes, Solihull went at us, caused us problems, got the goal. Then we hit back, like we said, that penalty changed the atmosphere completely. And oh my word, the next half hour we were sensational. I thought we really looked spectacular. We scored the penalty, we scored a terrific goal by Jones and could have scored more and really looked very dangerous. And then the second half, I think, just looked to control things and make sure Solihull couldn't get into it. And frankly, it worked apart from added time. They put on Hudlin, the massive striker. He didn't win headers, but he does cause confusion around him. And from one of those, from a corner, 94th minute, Mullin lost Sparrow on the edge of the area. Hudlin caused a bit of confusion, and he hit a lovely shot. Sparrow. There's 2 goals of brilliant strikes outside the box, one on top left, one on top right. So we successfully came out and killed the game in the second half. We weren't parking the bus, but we were just solid, and they were just passing around in front of us. They weren't getting anywhere. But then, the danger of a 1-goal lead, we let a goal in.
See, this is the thing, we didn't park the bus at all, like you said. I think it was Mullin that played the through ball to McAlinden on the left here, and he absolutely flung his leg at the ball, and it just everyone thought it was in the bottom corner. Then as the ball started going, you thought it was going to hit the post, and then just went wide. And then Luke Young when it was 2-1 late in the game, he decided to stand as Robin van Persie on the halfway line. Just head the clearance away. But that clearance turned into a through ball, and it sent Mullin through. Who again blazed his strike, and then Jewis got a fingertip on it, I believe. He didn't look to direct that ball. He just absolutely blasted it, didn't he? But yeah, if those goals go in, 3-1, it's a different game. We don't feel like we've lost, like Jay said. 3-1, we control the game, and then I don't think we concede. We win 3-1, or even if we do concede, we still get the win. But hanging on to 2-1 at any ground, let alone Solihull with a 6'9" striker, it's difficult. And the lads played well. Did they deserve to win? I think so. Some people may call me biased. Some people.
Oh, yeah.
But you can't say Solihull are lucky to get a draw.
Yeah, we closed the game out well. I mean, I'm seeing a bit low down Jeff Lang saying some lack of ability to manage the end of the game in a decent position. I wouldn't say that. I would say the whole second half was managed really well. Solihull weren't getting near us, weren't getting close to us. The only thing that did for us was that, like I said, they thrown on a freakishly tall player who does cause consternation around him. As he just walks past, sorry, I just called him a freak and he walked past. We were in the fourth row and his head just passed my head, about the same height. And then, teams are entitled to do that. They've thrown bodies forwards right at the end. They've changed their shape. It's only an added time that they've threatened. So yes, I would accept, okay, if we've got a second goal if we've got a goal in the second half, it's over. We didn't
it's obvious
do that.
To say that, though, isn't it?
We didn't threaten as much as Parkinson would have wanted us to on the break, but we really held them at arm's length. I mean, I make notes of anything of interest because I'll edit the highlights and I want to see when things happened. The only thing I wrote in the second half by Solihull was the goal. They didn't make me at any point feel the goal was threatened until that. They had a couple of headers in the box that they put well over, and they weren't really good chances, and players leaning on them. They couldn't get on top of their headers, and the goal. That was it. So, but just at the end, in added time, they started taking chances, hurling people in the box, hurling long balls in. They had the big lad in there. That happens, but we controlled, I thought, the half very well, I thought.
Yeah, I completely agree. We controlled, apart from the first 25 minutes, we controlled the whole game, I thought. But yeah, I don't know, as soon as the fourth official held up the board for 7 minutes, I don't know why, something just tweaked in me, and I just thought, yeah, this is when the pressure comes. Obviously, pressure comes then. But that vibe and atmosphere of, we're controlling this game changed to, we've got to cling on now, it's only 2-1. And, against any side, clinging on at the death is hard, especially when it's, like I said, away at Solihull. But, they just scored that goal. But, I would agree that we controlled the vast majority of the game.
Yeah.
It's just the bits that they controlled or were more threatening, and they scored twice, and Sparrow scored twice for them, and he scored 2 screamers. And we've walked away with 1 point, which we can't be too disheartened about. It's the first game of the season. We're playing against a promotion rival, but it could have been 3 points, couldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Which is why, just saw somebody down there. Toxic Hunter. Yeah, welcome back. I had very mixed emotions from that game just by listening on Mixler. Yeah, it's the same with it. Actually, I don't really. I feel mixed emotions in that we have just lost 2 points. But actually, I feel quite positive because I thought there was a danger because the squad's not complete yet that we could get punished today. And the first 15 minutes made me really think that was going to happen. And then after that, what I saw was really pleasing, which sort of makes me go back to a point that was made a while ago by CG. We need big 2 weeks of recruitment, still way off the squad needed to win the league. I agree totally with the first part of that. I think we do need a big 2 weeks of recruitment because you look at the quality of our last 2 signings, like a broken record saying this, we need 3 more players. If we bring in 3 more players of that level, wow, that's going to be a good team. I mean, who do you drop? So that's going to be very strong. I don't think we're way off the squad needed to win the league. I think we're in the ballpark, but we do need, I think, those finishing touches. Maybe I do agree with you, CG.
Well,
I'll think about it.
I think this side at the moment finishes second or third.
Yeah.
Personally, that's just a guess, obviously, but there's going to be more days where we bottle a lead right at the end because we're clinging on for a 1-0, a 2-1, a 3-2, and they've just thrown men forward and they've got a goal. That happens. This is football, and whether you've got 3 more players who are more experienced, whatever, that still happens because it's football. But on another day, Mullin scores, it's 3-1.
Yeah.
And then we see the game out and it's happy days. So, Yeah, I feel like we do need more signings, and I don't think with the squad at the moment we will win the league. But I way off is it's a bit too far for me that way.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
I agree. Ed Jones says if we could only sign one player in one position, which position would you fill? Defender, midfield, or keeper? Well, I wouldn't get a keeper. I don't think there's any need. I'm quite happy with the keepers we got. Defender, midfielder. Well, like for me, I don't know. We will sign 3. I think we need a couple of centre backs and a midfielder. If you're going to ask me if you really could only have one, I guess I'd say defender, simply because I'm worried that when we play 3 at the back, if we get any injuries, we're going to be short at the back. And if Hall Johnson's injury is bad, then French is going to have to play as a right wing back.
I would say I want more squad depth in the central midfielder role, because I'm completely happy with Young, Davis. You know, if we start McAlinden instead. But today we had Jones, Holden, and Davis going further forward. Well, I say that Jones did go further forward and scored an absolute screamer. So I'm happy with the midfield. I would like more depth in it. I think anyone would, but yeah, centre back wouldn't hurt with it. Or we'll see how long Hall Johnson's out for. Hopefully not long.
Well, yeah, exactly.
I'll hazard a guess and say he won't be, but we could end up needing another fullback. But again, Tyler French can play there.
Yeah, exactly.
As we saw in the late stages of that game.
Well, Emma Roberts here, and this has got a lot of love from other people in the chat. Actually saying excellent buzz from the fans today when the Wrexham goal went in. Midfield was getting overrun. We need a central midfielder too. I thought in the first 15, 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
Then the rest of the first half, like I say, it was split into 3 bits. The rest of that first half, no, I didn't. I felt happy with midfield. And then the second half, I think it was more we made a conscious decision that we were controlling the game, and the midfield was going to sit back a bit more and protect the defence. I don't think they were overrun then. So I think it depends what phase of the game they were in. But I do think we need a midfielder with presence. Definitely.
Yeah. It's a hard one, isn't it? Because obviously, as a Wrexham fan myself, I don't want Young or Davis waylaid from the starting 11.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do need more depth. We need an experienced head. You know, we've got the youth with Davis, arguably Young, but he's an experienced figure himself. And I'd say Davis, after the back of last season, you know, he's not just this young youth head anymore. He is an accomplished player for us, and he was last season, and he will be this season. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, those first 15 minutes were scary. It just felt discombobulated.
Exactly.
I know you disagree with it. It was just this nervous atmosphere around.
Yeah.
And I don't think we were overrun. I feel like it's a bit too strong, but it's near enough for Mark. But yeah, we just needed to settle down. I think Dibble, he caught a corner. And obviously you want to counter-attack off a corner when we've got players running forward, and he rolled the ball out to Hall Johnson, who just pinged upfield. And Solihull was straight back on the counter. And in my head I was just thinking, no, just hold that ball, just take a few seconds out of the game, just kill the game for a few seconds, and then start from the back, and we will, you know, calm down this Solihull pressure. Instead of just giving them the ball straight away and then just inviting them back onto us. I think sometimes when you're in that position, you just need to kill the game dead a bit more and manage it. I mean, those first 10-15 minutes were scary, but we didn't concede. We conceded in the 18th minute when I felt a bit more, we've calmed down now, and that's when the goal came. But yeah, it was a great strike. So you can't, I mean, you can take nothing away from Dibble. Like, he was no way, shape or form saving that shot. Yeah. But yeah.
We probably need to Scarpa in the next minute or so. Maybe we'll rattle through a few quick ones. Yolo, Jones, any news on what happened to Hall Johnson? No, I'm afraid not. He looked in a lot of pain going off on the stretcher, so it was rather worrying. Ed Jones wants to know what Mike Lake's doing these days. Mike Lake, who came into midfield and sparked a promotion in the 90s. Look, any man who has hair like Mike Lake had, all he'll do is stay at home and just stroke it gently.
Was he the blonde one?
No, he had long sort of long curtain style hair. And I swear to you, I once saw him send a defender the wrong way by faking to go one way with his body and also stroking his hair that way at the same time and then going the other way. It was magnificent. Yeah, he had a proper mane of lovely hair. I'll show you a picture of him afterwards. Yeah. I always keep one close to my heart.
Is it in your wallet?
No, I've actually had it inserted into my body. Oh, God, I wish I hadn't said that now. Oh, well, that's us kicked off Indian iTunes. Jeff Lang is complaining that I didn't give any fashion commentary at all. I'm sorry, Jeff. Look, he was wearing pants. As far as
I can right now. His name's escaped me. The 6'9" striker.
Hudlin.
When you called him a freak and he walked out,
Yes, that was a mistake.
I managed to notice that his trackies barely even went halfway down his legs. I think they're struggling to find sizes for him, but that was the greatest fashion piece I've seen today. The socks all the way up to hide his body, and then the trackies halfway down, or 3/4 of the way down his leg.
There you go. You've had your fix of fashion, okay? Luke Walker-Hyde didn't get a sniff at goal today, but his strength holding the ball up was top draw.
He did get a sniff. He scored, and it was offside.
True. But the point about the holding the ball up is spot on. Very impressed. Attacks another level this season. So you dominate games in the middle of the park. Totally agree. Kent asks us they're away to watch the matches online. Not at the moment. The law's gone back. Well, they sort of ignored the law about putting football on at 3 o'clock on TV and streaming. That's now reapplied. So essentially, certainly Saturday 3 o'clock's out of the question. The National League have been vague, I think is the best way of putting this, about what will happen in midweek games. So I think there could be a possibility that there may be some midweek games streamed.
Well, you can watch the Wrexham Notts County game on the Monday, not next Monday, the Monday after.
Well, that's on BT, isn't it?
BT Sport, so
but I think in terms of streaming, no, Saturday 3 o'clock is not allowed anymore. Midweek, it's possible, but I don't know if clubs will do it or not.
I'm not hopeful for that.
No, I agree. And James Wardhouse, what's happening in Mixler now with the subscription? Honest answer, I don't know, actually. I really don't know. I don't think it's been finally settled. Okay, so that's
I think an announcement
truth.
Went out about 3 games of Mixler.
Yes, that's right. Next 3 games, but I think he's thinking long term.
Yeah.
What will happen? Right, so chaps, we're going to have to run. Plano's saying about Young doing well going forward. What to think of an attacking midfielder? I think use him as he is, because he's still giving that. He's still offering that. Now interesting questions coming in here. Is Akbar fan 5556? Do not mix him up with Akbar fan 5557. Yeah. They hate each other. Saying, he's American. Hello there. I don't know why he just told me that. Right, salary caps are so complex over here, and basically not this year in this league. There will be one next year, but they haven't worked out how it will work. All I can say is welcome to Boris Johnson's Britain. It's all like that now. All this country, all it does is we say something will happen, but we have no idea how it will happen.
And it will take quite a few years to happen.
Yeah, and then rather than actually put things in place and work out how it will happen, we just do nothing at all until the day before, and then panic and make bad decisions. That's how we work in this country now. So basically Akbar fan 5556. At the moment in this league there is no salary cap. There should be a salary cap the league above, but that's been challenged in court as well. So it's all super complicated at the moment, and I'd love to go into it, but I probably should drive home. Yeah. We probably need to go, don't we, really? Cause,
I fancy my tea.
Yeah, my tea's in the boot of my car, so probably the longer I take, the more likely I'll get food poisoning.
That's a long story.
Yeah, you don't want to hear that long story. Poor Tom will hear a lot of long stories because he's going to be in the car with me for 2 hours, so I apologise in advance, Tom.
That's fine. I like this story time, isn't it?
Story time, yes, absolutely. The thing is that when I fall asleep while telling them because I'm driving.
I can drive. I've got a licence.
Fair enough. I don't care about my car, so do what you want.
That's fine.
Okay, chaps, we'd better Scarpa. But it's been a pleasure chatting to you. Thanks for all the questions, and we'll be back after the game on Saturday to see if we can build on this result. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Brilliant.